Hi everybody, Hollywood NetHD here. Today we are going to explain Dog Movie, an American comedy drama road film released in 2022. So let's get started without wasting time. Former Marine Jackson Briggs is seeking to return to the service from which he was discharged due to his brain injury and seizures he is suffer. His administrator, Captain Jones, thus offers him an occasion. He'll make a call and as a commanding officer will confirm his operation. But in return Briggs must transport a womanish Belgian cowgirl, Lulu, to Nogales for the burial of her tutor, Riley, who failed in an auto accident many days before. Because Lulu is aggressive and there's no bone among the dog faces or police officers to borrow her, Briggs is to drop her off at White Beach Base after the burial, where she'll be euthanized. Briggs receives some effects to return to Riley's family and Lulu's Love Me book, a journal where all dog faces have to write down all the notes from the war and training, as well as a warning not to touch Lulu's cognizance because she's sensitive to them. Together with a barking canine in hitch, he embarks on a 1500 far trip. Still, he does not plan to go directly to the place and stay for the burial at the hostel. He decides to enjoy the trip. Shortly after leaving the base, Briggs goes to the firing range. While he is gone, Lulu manages to get out of the transport box and starts trashing his seats. Briggs thus has to sedate her with a painkiller in a link and continues on their way. In the evening, he visits two hookers and leaves the sleepy Lulu in the auto. Still, she soon wakes up and starts barking again, which is noticed by a passerby. Believing it to be an abused canine, the man throws a gemstone at the auto despite Briggs' warning, and Lulu runs out and attacks him. Briggs snappily pulls her back, but the two girls flee from him in the meantime. The coming day, Briggs continues his trip and has a harangue with Lulu. He reveals that both he and Lulu are a liability to the army. She's aggressive and masterless, and he has been supposed unskillful because he suffers seizures when he gets stressed. Lulu suddenly breaks free of the collar she's tied by, jumps out of the auto and makes a run for it, injuring herself in the process. Briggs has to stop snappily and tries to catch her. Following her trail of blood, he's led to the home of her original planter. A man named Gus hits Briggs with a painkiller outrage and ties him to a president in the sty, where he interrogates him. Allowing Briggs is a member of the troop team transferred to expropriate his weed, he bluffs that he killed Lulu. When he leaves, Briggs breaks free and follows him into the house. As he's about to kill him with a dismissal, he notices Lulu, whose injured paw is being tended to by Gus's woman. Briggs is surprised to find Lulu acting calm and friendly. Outside the house, he reconciles with Gus and compactly tells him Lulu's story. Gus's woman ultimately tells Briggs that Lulu has her paw treated and she has offered her a connection. He finds that Lulu is pining a soft mattress and Indian food. Saying farewell to the couple, he leaves with Lulu. So Briggs, despite considerable misgivings, stops at a hostel with Lulu on his way, pretending to be eyeless, and Lulu is his backing canine so they can both get in for free. He takes a bath with Lulu and in the evening flirts with the hostel receptionist. Lulu suddenly breaks free and attacks the Muslim croaker Al-Farid, though fortunately, thanks to her nib, she cannot harm him. When Briggs tries to catch her, he trips, revealing that his sight is actually fine. He's arrested and Lulu is sequestered. When he spends the night in guardianship, he meets a racist police officer who thinks he set the canine on Al-Farid on purpose. In the interrogation room the coming morning, Briggs tries to explain Lulu's aggressive jest, saying that she was trained to attack people like Al-Farid, and they're both released. Since they still have plenitude of time left, Briggs decides to visit High's ex-wife and son. Still, his woman will not let him in, so he decides to go see family of Lulu, Nuke, and his tutor Noah, who live hard. Noah greets Lulu like an old friend and, during an autumn regale, reveals to Briggs that he was in an analogous situation with Nuke. and had to work hard with him for 6 months before the service allowed him to borrow him. When Briggs says farewell to Noah in the evening, he discovers that his auto has been ransacked and that not only Riley's things are gone, but also his drug. With the help of the two tykes, they're suitable to track down the stealers and recover most of the particulars. Briggs drives down, but after several hours of driving in heavy rain at night his auto breaks down. He and Lulu take retreat in an abandoned structure. Lulu is hysterical of the storm and nearly attacks Briggs, but eventually she doesn't. An angry Briggs goes out into the rain, but ultimately returns and puts on Gray's Deconstruction on television. While doing so, he reads Riley's poignant notes from the Love Me book about how he nearly lost Lulu when she was shot formerly, and that he realizes he was no way Lulu's master, but that she was his. The coming morning, they eventually go to the burial. They manage to hitch a lift in a small truck and drive a short distance, walking the rest of the way. When Lulu is too tired to continue, Briggs takes her in his arms. Ultimately, they manage to get to the burial on time. Briggs lets Lulu go and she lies down by her former master's shoes. Briggs comforts her during the commendation and gives Riley's things to his family. After the burial, Briggs gets his auto fixed and calls Captain Jones. He says that Lulu has bettered a lot during the trip and is no longer aggressive, and urges Jones to change his mind about Lulu's euthanasia after all. Jones, still, replies that it's not over to them. On the way back, Briggs stops with Lulu in the champagne, takes off her collar, and lets her go so she has a chance to survive. Lulu, still, will not run down, and when Briggs tries to chase her down, she jumps back into the auto, so Briggs goes back with her. He has a seizure at the hostel that night, and when he regains some countenance, he tells Lulu he is fine, strokes her cognizance and lies down on the bottom. Lulu faithfully lays her head on his casket and stays with him. In the morning, Briggs, as arranged, takes Lulu to the White Beach base, muzzles her, and hands her over to youthful Corporal Lewitz, but urges him to estimate Lulu again and give her a chance before putting her down. He also leaves the base himself, but when he sees Lulu's hopeless struggle in a rear view, he cannot stand it and ultimately returns and takes her with him, leaving his departed ID on the base. Sometime latterly, he adopts Lulu and indeed has his family returned to him. The film ends with a shot of Briggs and Lulu sitting on a precipice watching the ocean. Briggs thanks Lulu for saving his life. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, shares it, and subscribes this channel Hollywood NetHD for new and best Hollywood movies summary and upcoming movies trailers.